I still remember the day I received a text from Eklavya and the text read, I have $1 billion idea.
If you don't believe of where you are heading is absolutely correct, it is very easy to get shattered.
Finding a co-founder for this journey almost similar to like getting married, right?
More than marriage, I would say, right? I used to write Slack messages to the team, right, like on a Sunday, etc. And then you're like, no, that's not done. That's not what we decided.
What's the best part of running a company? First is I can move at a speed of light and I'm working with people I truly want to spend my time with.
Yeah.
So after 2 years of starting Recur, I still remember the day I received a text from Eklavya, and the text read, I have $1 billion idea. And today we are around 80 of us now, and having been helped more than 500 founders. How does it feel? Eklavya, like we are here, like we have arrived.
Yeah, seriously, man, it's ecstatic, right? Like, can't believe that the journey for the last 2 years, it's just been an exponential journey, working with so many founders, trying to understand there's so many problems, right? Including what we face ourselves, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's phenomenal. The kind of things that have come up with 80 people, with 3 offices here, right? Like, it's just great, right? Like, I don't think, I couldn't imagine 2 years back, right? Like when we decided, while it was a great idea where we thought that we will, come here, sit here with so many people in the 2 years.
True. I think it has been a great journey, right? Like when we two used to work together, it was like all the division which we now see was working just in the 2 people, right? I always felt complete.
Yeah.
Right? That is very interesting. And now we have like 80 and then we are doing the same thing which we too used to do.
Correct.
2 years back. So it's always great to see where we have come. Right?
No, that's true. It's complementary, right? Like I think that is what has worked, right? Like if you reflect back, right? Like how we got together, how we were, right? Like I am Calcutta where we met.
Yes.
Right? Like I think it was from day zero thinking on similar lines yet doing very different things. I think that is what has been working, right? Like if you think about it at Recur and even previously.
I agree. And it's a great, I think people ask us at times, right? How does it feel and how do we find a co-founder? Right? And I think that's a very important choice. It's almost like getting married, right? That you have to take the right call because that will determine how you operate, because like finding a co-founder for this journey is almost similar to like getting married, right?
It's more than marriage, I would say, right? Like both of us ironically spend so much time with,
exactly.
online, offline, but it's great, right? Like I think the passion that it comes through, like I think we were discussing, right? Like in chatting after 2 years, right? We used to like our work, right? Like both of us independently, right? Like, but I think the passion that comes in and doing this own thing is just phenomenal, right?
I agree.
It's
and
unmatchable.
I think it's very important to have that mutual respect, right? And I think we always share that, right? From the beginning days in like IIM when we met, right? To like after 10 years now we are sitting here in a company which we started. I think the respect for each other work, even though it's completely different, right? I have been doing more of like product, and you yourself have been doing completely different things.
100%.
But I think that mutual respect is really, really important.
I think some of us were asking, right? Like some of the employees, some of the people, some of our team members, we were talking about that. How does it feel? Do you guys have contrarian opinions? You remember that day?
How do you resolve conflicts?
How do you resolve conflicts? Right? Like it was funny. Like, do you guys even have conflicts? We were like, obviously, who doesn't, right?
Yeah, we are the ones who fight the most probably.
Exactly. I think that's the fun part. I think that's what helps us to quickly resolve things and get over them very quickly.
I used to tell everyone because we managed very different teams. I used to tell that we operate as one, right? Even though we don't have any call on the calendar together, but we still talk first thing in the morning and probably last thing in the day, right? Not because it is required, because we also like to talk to each other, right? So I think that also what defines our relationship.
I agree. And then the best part, right? Like sometimes even when we don't talk during the day, right? Like and next day we are talking and we are the same page.
Exactly.
I think that's the beauty, right? Like I think that's what helps, right? Like while we are independently working parallelly, but moving in the same direction.
I think this brings a very important question, like that, to have that trust, right? So if I know that you have said something, I know that I fucking trust you, right? That I just believe. I don't need to question it. I don't need to say ऐसा कैसे बोल दिया एकलव्य ने, right? I know सोच के ही बोला होगा, and I'll just talk to him. So I think that trust need to be there. I've seen a lot of people saying, questioning authority and things like that. I think that is what really also.
You're absolutely right. I think one thing that has worked well for us, right? Like it's the trust between us, right? With complementary skill set and trust between our founding team.
Exactly.
Right? All Amar, Anirudh, Sudhanshu, anyone that you see, right? Like Akshay, right? Like every one of us from the start, we trust each other blindly that ways, right? Like with their respective things.
Yeah, that's very important, right? Like having that belief, and I think that is what we were talking the other day, right? That there are some people in your organization that just love you, and they work for love. They don't care about the paycheck, they don't care about valuation, they don't care about anything. They are in love, right?
Exactly.
And I think those are the people, right, which we really want to create, and that's the best part of creating something, right?
Correct.
That you get to work with people who are in love.
Yes.
And it's very difficult to explain at times, right?
Exactly. That feeling, that small things that, you know, take you to, like, even if it's a small problem that you're solving, right? Like, but the ecstasy of that, right? Like, so getting the solution out there is just astronomical, and small impacts with everyone in here, right? Like, I think it's been a great journey, right? Like, if you reflect about it, I think immense learnings for us, right?
I still remember our early days, right? When we used to sit. So first time when we met, like 4th of April 2021, and we drafted our first plan, right?
Yeah.
And then it's so hard to imagine there were just two people thinking that, okay, this is what we need to do. You take care of this tech product, I'll take care of this, and we sailed through, right? And we were able to.
Cafe, right? In
beer cafe in
a hot Sunday afternoon. Two of us sitting in, drinking, gulping beer, and then, you know, suddenly we started talking about it. I think we were there the entire evening. And it
just took us 1 minute to decide, okay, let's do it. Right?
Never ever. And previously you've thought about other ideas, right? Like both of us have discussed about multiple ideas, have started working on so many of them, right? Like, and even at a similar speed. But I'm glad we could, you know, finally.
And that's why I always reflected, right? When we graduated out of IIM Calcutta, we started working on something with two of our friends, right? What was different and why was Recur different? I think the state of mind, and I have also grown as a person, right? When I was fresh out of college, then went to IIM Cal for my MBA, young blood, energy, but absolutely zero experience. You did have, but just
no. I think we were very young, very, I think, scared as well of uncertainty. Probably, I think both of us at that point in time, and maybe rightly so. I think because what has helped me personally, and I'm sure you as well, right? Like the experience that you have gained post our education, working experience, right? I think the network that we have built, the kind of understanding of the product, the kind of understanding of people, how it works, the relationships, etc. I think it takes us a long way and matures as a person, right? Like we always used to discuss, right? Like abhi nahi kiya to kab karenge yaar, time nikal raha hai, right? Like couple of things we started discussing, time nikal jayega yaar, abhi nahi kiya to kabhi nahi kar payenge, badhoge to kabhi nahi kar payenge.
I think one thing which was common is that nudge to do something, right? कि करना है, कुछ तो करना है, अभी नहीं करना है, तब करेंगे, कुछ दिन बाद करेंगे. But I think that thing is what really united us, कि कुछ तो करना है यार, मतलब ये नहीं करना लाइफ में. And I think this brings me to another thing that people always say, यार आप IIM Calcutta से IIT से आपके लिए आसान है. But I always used to think that इसलिए opportunity cost भी बहुत ज़्यादा है. Right? When we joined and when we left our jobs for Recur, we did not know what is going to happen, right? But what we were leaving was something good.
Yeah, you left your job the day you were getting promoted, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting story, right?
Couldn't be more ironical than that.
True, but
and at a place you liked working.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where, like, people ask that it comes from within, right? That you have that confidence that you can do it, right? You can do it. You have to just have that belief, because I think one thing which defines all of the founders is that self-belief.
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, you'll not be able to leave that one job, that comfort of that paycheck, right? If you don't believe. Because if you don't believe, the people who are going to join you cannot believe.
Yes.
And that is one thing
which faith and optimism is extremely important, right? Firm belief, because there are always the obstacles we have learned, right? Like in our 2-year journey, there have been so many obstacles, daily, weekly, monthly, right? Like if you don't believe of where you are heading is absolutely correct, you know, it is very easy to get shattered, right? Like, and I think probably that's the reason, not saying that we have done, you know, astronomically well, but I think a lot of startups fail because of that, right? Like because of 100% self-belief in themselves or the idea or the team believing in them. I think very important. I think that's the biggest learning, at least, that we have had.
I think we keep on saying, right, to the team, to the people, that this is it's not just the best team to build Recur. It's the best team to build anything. And that is very important in a startup. Because if you reflect how many things we have changed over time, right? We have almost transformed as a company. We were trying to do something else, probably I think pivoted n number of times to where we are today, and the same thing we will be doing in the next 3, 4, 5 years, right? and even beyond, right? And I think that is what actually defines the type
100%.
of people, right? If you have those people who are volatile, who are agile,
Yes.
right, that truly defines.
No, we've always heard, right? Like if you are running a startup, you need to be flexible, nimble, agile. But that's
But,
true.
yeah,
If
that's
you
true.
don't take decision at that moment, you realize that some decisions that you take this morning are getting actually implemented to
In the
tonight.
evening, yeah.
Right? Like and next day it's in practice. And you realize, oh, maybe I just said it like this. And then you have to believe that this was the right decision
True.
and play along, right? Like so I think that's the best part as well. Working versus doing your own thing, and I think that's made a big difference.
I know,
On the
I know.
small things. Right, like that.
I think
make
people ask
a
like
huge
how,
difference.
what keeps you going. So I was talking to my ex-manager the other day, and he asked, what's the best part of running a company? I said two things. First is I can move at a speed of light, and I am working with people I truly want to spend my time with.
Yeah.
These are the two things. Right? I don't care about what my valuation is, what is going on in the company, but these two things is what keeps me going every day.
Correct. But all of that is a byproduct, right? Like I think a lot of people were chasing the one, we need to make $1 billion company, this, that, etc. I think all of that will happen as a byproduct if you keep on focusing. But the real fun and the real joy is actually that creating with the
It's
right
a journey,
people,
right?
Like it's that journey.
Yeah.
That the moments that we remember, right? Like 2 years seem like we have memories for 20 years, right? Like so many things, so many people. I think it's been great, right? Like, and if you think about our earlier ventures that we started working with, right? Like post time Calcutta, we started, working on Bank of Karma, then which was a great idea still, right? Like if you think about it, even today, I think it's a great idea.
It is.
Getting Karma credits, right? Like basically, I think it's great, right? Like, but I think it's the execution. One more thing I realized, right? Like, so many ideas,
very good point. I think we remember earlier on we used to treasure our ideas.
Yes.
I can't tell this is a $1 billion idea. Idea is of zero value.
Exactly.
That's, I think every founder who started a company will agree.
Yeah.
It is 100% about execution. Two people, two same teams can have the same idea, and one can completely change the game.
Ideas will be copied as well, right? Like so people came in, right? Like even with us, there were a few people, a few companies who wanted to do that, right? Like maybe still want to do that. And the market is big, where all that is great, right? So if we execute well, you're going to nail it. You don't need 100% of market anyhow. So I think it's about the right execution. Very, very important. All those things, it's funny, right? Like we used to read it and say, no, they're just saying like that, right? Like it has to be a great idea.
Idea and funding, right?
Innovation, innovation definitely helps, right? Like it's always great to innovate, to keep abreast with all the technologies, new things, everything, right? Like, but it's more execution, I think.
Definitely.
Than idea.
Specifically, I think the first phase when you're setting up, finding a PMF, if you're not able to execute, someone will out-execute you, right? That's what we always truly believe.
Yes.
It's not about the idea, it is not about the tech. Everything can be done. But you have to move fast. I think it's been great, right? It's a great journey. I still remember the day I met you in IIM right? When we used to, right? We were wing mates.
Yeah, first meeting, right? Like a first meeting was in a hostel room, sitting in a boring first week. I think the first introduction, etc. that happened at.
I think B schools put you in so much pressure that you form very solid relationships, right? Because it is tough. It is wartime, right? I still remember those days, right? And that is why I think, that's a meaneful relationships are made because you are in a lot of stress.
Yeah, I agree. Right? You've seen the thick and thins.
I still remember when we used to broke down and you used to take me for drinks in IIM to the Calcutta city.
From way back to Jokata. What is that place called?
Someplace else.
Someplace else. Right?
Park City, Park Road or something.
Park Place, Park Versatile.
Wow.
I think it was too
10
much
years.
Fun. How time flies. No wonder how time flies. But I think it's can't ask for more, right? Like if you were to reflect today, right? Like I'm very happy with what I think we have been able to achieve. Obviously, there is miles to go. But I think what we have been able to do in such a short span of time, and the fun that we have had in short span of time of building this and helping so many founders in our journey, right? Like where journeys are so tough. Even if we can help, few startups, right? Like it gives us and if we hear from them, right? Like I was telling you the other day, I was talking to one of the founders in a SaaS, running a SaaS company, and it was like, you have changed our life. We were probably struggling otherwise, right? Like where Recur came in and has just been like a god send wish to them, right? Like can't.
And that's the best thing, right? When you hear it from your customers. I think after working with this around close to 500 founders, And then recently we were talking about it, right? After running the startup for around 2 years, that at times it's a lonely journey, right? There are some things I can only talk to you.
Yeah.
I have great friends, great employees, which I truly love and connect.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that I can only tell you.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, that is that persona, right? That even though because you are looked upon, you can never be vulnerable in front of any one of your employees or your team or anyone. I think that is what brings across a great question that we have been talking around, right? That founder and then that persona comes with so much responsibility. At times you feel lonely.
Yeah.
Right? If I did not have you, I can't even imagine who would I talk to.
No, I think the importance of us talking to each other and being a co-founder, right? A lot of people talk. A lot of founders that we speak to. Should we do a sole business? Should we have a co-founder? I think this is one of the major reasons.
Yeah.
Right?
It is lonely.
Yeah.
Right, guys? I think every founder we have met, I think not having a co-founder is scary. I have tremendous respect
not
for
even
people.
On the same page, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like people are thinking about too many different things, etc. Right? Like you are at a different tangent. You're talking to investors. You're talking to companies. You're talking to employees. You're trying to balance, personal professional life, which both of us have struggled tremendously.
Yeah.
But
I think I have committed to a lot of my friends that there are times where there is only one person in this entire company of 80, right, who picks me up. Because I can only be vulnerable in front of him, and he's the one who's picking me up, right? And that is I cannot thank you enough. But there are days where
exactly likewise, right? Like it's a free flowing, I think very free flowing conversations, right? Like I think that takes you through, because both of us have been going through that, probably same pressure, same kind of things, same kind of vulnerability, as you said,
exactly.
right? Like which gives comfort.
I think that's also very important. Like as India is transforming and we are getting more and more people from very humble and very different backgrounds getting into startup world, starting their companies, that it is tough and it consumes you. Because if it doesn't consume you, it will be very difficult to make it up to the top.
You have to be closely connected, right? Like, and if you have to be closely connected to something, you have to be passionate, you have to be obsessing about it.
Exactly. And
that
it takes a toll on your relationships, not just your personal, your friends, your family. It needs a lot of support, right? After doing it for 2 years, I realized it takes immense support system to be able to accept.
I think support system is extremely important. That's true. I think thankfully, to the Recur family here, right? Like to all of which we have, I think we can do a lot of things with folks at work as well, right? Like be very open, have a good time with folks, right? Like rather than rushing. So we can spend quality time working, thinking, having fun in the journey. So I think that's extremely important.
And that's the reason that we were able to make a great team, right? In the beginning, right? We were not able to, we did not intentionally raise any funds for the first 6 months, right? And we got fantastic people to join us, right? And that's a testament to the respect we share for each other, that people decided to join us. And we liked working together, right? It was not that we will create something, or it just, we liked working with each other and we aligned with the problem statement, that we were able to knit fantastic people together.
I think exactly,
right?
and the trust that people showed early on, right? Like I think can't forget. Like even if someone asks us today that what is that one thing that while customers are great, really I think it's the team. Can't thank them less, right? Like to that extent. I think it's just phenomenal having that wonderful team with us and curating different kind of solutions for them day in day out. You remember the early days, when I was laughing. There was no Saturday, there was no Sunday. We used to have our stand-ups at Sunday 9 p.m. And when some and first 8-10 people is fine, I think. When the next probably set of 5-10 people joined in and said, Sunday 9 p.m. Can we change that, please?
I still remember.
Like, okay, but do we have to? And then we did, and then obviously now we have settled to a well-balanced routine.
I know, and that has been a journey, right? I still remember, like there was no boundaries, and we started in COVID. So there was no work day. The concept of work day started when you woke up and you are conscious till the point you slept again in your subconscious, right? In your entire consciousness, everyone is just thinking about work. It's just like Yeah,
But
no
I think
boundaries.
you're missing a lot of fun after coming to office.
Yeah. It's
working
hard
from
to go
home.
back.
Yeah, working from home, we miss so many things.
Yeah.
Probably we would have accelerated even more if
Exactly.
we were together, right? Like
True,
if you think
and
about it.
I think
in
it would have
person.
been so tough for people who were in office and they went remote.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine right now going remote
I think for a
because
startup it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Because a day in our lives is like a week, right? Like typically in a
Exactly.
usual world and outside world. So it creates distance, right? Like in terms of being at the same place. So many things happening at the same time, right? Like you can't keep on, updating everyone to that extent.
No, I
so
agree.
it's funny.
it has been a great decision for us to open an office. I know we took it at that time, we were not sure that how do we get people to come to office.
Yeah.
I think one of the strategies which work for us is to just make it fun.
Yes.
Right? We will need never, till date we don't enforce people to come to office.
Yeah.
They are still flexible.
Correct.
But the fact that we were able to do things, and that has been great, right? The idea of playing cricket in office, right? We did that.
It was
right?
crazy. It was this place earlier, right? Like where we used to play. It was crazy, insane. I think can't
and then
forget this.
posting it on on all staff group, and asking people to come join and play with us.
Yeah, those tactics worked.
I think it was a great idea.
No, it was good fun. I think that was a good drive, for come to office, breaking so many TVs in here.
But worth it. We got people here. The TV still needs repair, but
100%.
Yeah, it's still.
100%. I think you remember when we stepped into this office for the first time, right? Like it was a different place.
Yeah, different place.
Right, like transformed to another level. If you come to think about it.
True. And at
And
times
it's only been 7 months since we took this office, right? Like it's not been that long.
And the other day we were just talking about that. When do you go home? Right? And Pratik responded that this is home.
Yeah. When do you go?
I am at home.
I am at home. That's true. That was music to ears. I think
that's how we feel, right?
Yeah.
You don't feel like leaving this place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that's very true. No, I think that's very true. The kind of discussions I think that we have, especially early morning, late evening. I think schedules have changed, right? Like started getting up. Like one thing I was reflecting on the personal front, if you think, right? I think schedules have really changed.
I think earlier on we used to start at 11.
Yeah.
Right? In the morning.
Yeah, you start waking up early. Going to the gym, going to the exercise for 3 hours, right? Like that's crazy. Right? Like, but that's great, right? Like it's a good routine, a good schedule. Everything in practice.
And a lot of us, most of this schedule has to come from founders. Like we used to start at 11, go till late.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. And then we decided one day that, okay, this is probably not right.
Yeah.
And it really helped, right? Now we start at 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
We get longer days technically and we are able to end faster.
Correct.
So that I think
it's
that's
well
a gradual journey, I think, of maturity.
Yes.
Of
I think, and people also, right, like as they join, right, like they also get a well settled life, right? You can't expect everyone to go bonkers. That's unrealistic as you scale. So I think one has to be very well balanced. People also get to spend time with their families and are more happy coming to work the next day, right? Like I think so.
Agreed.
So I think it's very, very well sorted. But I think it's been phenomenally well, right? Like one thing that I really miss, I don't know what is it about you. One thing that I personally really miss is, stopped watching anything. I can't watch. That patience is gone on TV, on Netflix, movies. I don't think I've gone to a theater in like 3 years, 3-4 years, right? Like last 2 years for sure, not. Right?
No,
like,
I know.
Can't watch. I think the patience level has gone down. I was thinking one thing that has drastically changed. I know what is it about you.
And that is what we also we need to reflect, right? That vacations or taking a break out, especially in the first year was really tough.
Yeah.
That it is a madness in you and that obsession that you cannot stop it.
Yeah,
right. And it takes training because now we know that it's a long-term game. It's not like a excited 1-2 year game that we are playing.
Yeah.
And it takes coaching.
Yeah.
To be able to shut ourselves down even for one day or that 1 hour where you want your brain to not think, right? And it increases productivity, but it's very difficult to coach, right? Because you're completely obsessed, right?
It's
like you cannot even watch a cricket match without thinking about what you're building, right?
You remember one of our first angel investors, right? Like she mentioned, right? Like one thing, whatever happens, whatever doesn't happen, right? Like remember one thing, to get your Sundays off.
Yes.
I think it will go the long way.
Archana, I think, told us one day after making the investment.
Exactly.
That I will give you one advice.
Right? Like now we come to think about it, right? Like obviously there is a lot of business that happens, but that one day is important.
I think and now it is
to mentally shut off.
Yeah.
Not physically not being there, but I think to mentally it's very difficult. But I think it helps.
And it needs to be coached.
Yeah.
And that happens with the with like both of us and the immediate team, right, who has been with us
Yeah.
throughout the journey, to like coach and inculcate in them that guys, it is okay to not think about this
Yes.
for just one day.
One day, yeah.
It will only help you.
Yeah, no, I remember, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to write Slack messages to the team, right? Like on a Sunday, etc. And then you're like, no, that's not that's not what we decided. And as a hack, what
Yeah.
it was, I used to draft in a draft. Monday morning, shoot. I think that was the best remedy that worked. And we laughed so much about it. But I think now it's gone.
Yeah.
I think it's a habit, right? Like obviously it was a transition phase, but I think it has helped. I think personally it has helped. We've been able to spend time with family. We've been able to pick up new activities, right? Like do something in our lives for the last 2 years other
exactly.
than work. It's so much more.
That's important. I think in fitness, right, we have started, and then we are also introducing for all of us, right? It's very important, and I think I personally feel that investing in yourself really helps you to focus better, to feel good about yourself. And I see that a lot of you started playing golf, right? That's been great.
Yeah.
And working out. I think
it's absolutely true, right? Like if you are fit, you are healthy, you are at attentive at the point in time, I think others automatically will be.
Exactly.
So I think that's
I think
true.
all these things are like really addictive, and it reflects and it translates into other people. I see a lot of people see us do it, want to do it for themselves.
So many people have
right?
started going to the gym,
Yes.
having a fitness competition early morning.
Exactly.
Right? Like it's good fun.
Yeah,
It's good
Good
fun.
to see that they're investing, and it improves productivity. It improves their moods. They can have longer work days for all that matters, but feel good about themselves, right? And that's the real science.
Yes.
It really helps me, and that's why I'm able to like inculcate in others as well that it really helps.
Yeah.
Try it, right?
I was talking to a very good friend, a senior person, right? Like in one of the venture capital funds some time back, and she said that remember just one thing, startup is difficult, but it's a marathon, right? It's not a sprint, so don't rush into things. Pace it well.
Yeah.
Speed it when it's required. Slow it down when it's required. I think it's very important. I think it's one of the best advices that one can give. While it seems very obvious, but you have to really implement it.
Pace it.
Yeah, pace it well. For longevity. It's a long run or a long haul that we are into.
And I think for both of us, it's really important, right? Because now after 2 years, I see that how we feel, how we talk, it translates, right?
Yeah.
That sets the tone, right? Even one mistake of ours can so easily be replicated and easily destroy whatever we have been trying to make.
Correct.
So I think being there, even though obviously whenever we started, we never thought that we'll be here. It comes with a lot of responsibility, right?
Yes.
I still know that number of books I have been able to, like I had to read, right? Number of people that you have met, the articles that we read every day, trying to be better, trying to upskill ourselves.
Correct.
Right? It comes with a lot of challenges that you have to invest in yourself before you can actually inspire people, right?
That's true.
Now we work with people who are more experienced than us,
Yes.
that have been in the industry, come up to us for advice. Right?
That's
And you cannot sound dumb,
Yeah.
right? And at times
That
you
is
don't.
so true. At a point in time, when someone asks you a question, you can't say, "Oh."
Yeah.
I think that is one thing that you have to play around as well at times. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
We don't know answers to everything at that point in time,
Exactly.
right? Like, but you just can't say, "Let me think about it." No.
Yeah.
I think you should do this.
And you cannot steer them in the wrong direction, right? Otherwise, I think that comes with a lot of
I think
responsibility.
it comes with a lot of experience as well. I think personally, I have at least gotten better, right? Like of handling that in the last 2 years. I think
True.
rather than just being responsive, right, like and reacting, right, like it's more a thoughtful response that comes instantly.
I agree.
Probably.
I think that's what like running a company, being vulnerable puts you through, right? That you're constantly upgrading yourself also, right? I would never have imagined, like say last 8 years working in a company, I never read even a single book.
Yeah.
Right? I was just doing my job.
You read so much.
But right now, right, because you're constantly investing in yourself as well. So I think being a founder really helps you upskill at tremendous level. Like, and you can break all boundaries of all your expertise and everything, right? You're trying to be like, you're meeting so many people, getting so many ideas, trying to implement new thing every day. So it's a great challenge, but it's like so much, like I think so much you get to learn and are exposed to.
No, the experiences are just, I think, unbelievable. I think we'll have many more.
Yeah,
This is just the
definitely.
starting, right? Like obviously building great teams. I think it's going to be good fun for the upcoming years.
True. I think it has been a great journey. I see when we were just 5 to 10 people, how we were operating. Then we went to 30. Then now to 80, and there are a lot of people who essentially we might not never have met also, right, who are joining us, and then this organization is becoming bigger, is to how the responsibility of us as founders and then our immediate leaders changes from getting things done to making people do things, setting those processes which can scale. Right? And I think that is where like an organization also goes through different life cycles, right?
Stage of the company, stage of the journey, I think changing so drastically, so fast. And for us to adapt, for all of us, right? Like both of us obviously, and all our everyone in the team, right? Like to adapt, that is
true,
insane, right? Like
and keep upskilling, keep creating new processes, iterating.
I think one thing that we have been able to do within the team as well, I think I was reflecting right with the team, I think that people reading quite a lot, right? Like, and talking about new things, you know, that Slack channel that we have to discuss, you know, the learning hub and things like that. I think that has worked pretty well. There is obviously scope for improvement. I don't think everyone does it, but I think we have seen significant changes in a lot of people, right? Like people quoting about it and talking about it. I think we'll keep on learning these things, anyways, how we build it. But I am glad we could build it, right? Like, and come this far.
Yeah, and I think, and still the fact that after 2 years and after financing like hundreds of crores, you're still not satisfied, right? There's so much which is ahead of us, which like in the morning keeps you going. I think that is what's the exciting part of building something, right? Even after achieving so much, it almost feels like a start. Right? It almost feels like we started today, and there's a lot to do. Right? And I think
next?
that is.
I think what next is always on your
always on your mind. Like you're never satisfied, right? And that's why I think when you meet young founders like students, and I meet them, and they'd say, "Okay, when will you be a unicorn?" And I just laugh. That I think from the outside, what people see are valuations, right? Unicorns. But once you start building, this game is completely something else, right? It is about that obsession of creating that dent, of like doing something rather than valuations. Who cares, right? Valuation is a news, it's a number. But the days which a team is spending, like all the examples you see, the work they are doing has so much more meaning to them. Right? What is a valuation?
Also, right, like when we talk to our team, right, like the impact that they are able to create also drives them, right? Like having fun, right? Like basically, you know, one of our team members was mentioning, you know, very recently. You remember that quote from him? Correct, right? Like the perks of working in a perks of the large company, yet you know having fun and ability to do things like in a startup, right? Like that things like that make you really happy, right? Like people are having fun, people are able to do what they want to do, right? Like if you create a house like that, I think, you know, we'll be blessed.
And that's what we started our company as well, right? That it's not about what you do for Recur. I think, and I tell everyone who joins, it's about what we do for you, right? I want to make sure that your Recur experience is so worthwhile that you will always cherish it, no matter what you do in life, right? And that is core to the culture we are trying to build. That we want to create a culture of learning, a culture of love and respect, a culture where they truly grow as an individual, as a professional, right? And whenever they go, right, they create magic, right? And that's the aspiration, right?
No, great. I think this is lovely. I think if we think about it, to many more years, and hopefully we'll be you know, soon coming up with new things at Recur as well. So looking forward.
Special thanks to Ishan for making us sit after a deadly work day at 10:30 at night to make sure this happens tonight.
That's the fun, right? Like his obsession is making us do that at this point.
And that's what keeps us going, right? That is what keeps us going, right?
The drive that we see in people, I think, can't beat that.
Great.
Cool. To next year, probably.
To next year, to Recur.
Good
night, guys.
Good night.